Greetings, beautiful souls. Welcome to Amra's German Channeling Congress. Before I begin, let me express my gratitude to everyone at Amra. Thank you for everything you are doing. Thank you for sharing knowledge and wisdom with this world and making this world a better place. I am grateful that I can share with you a message, Pleiadian message, about StarSeed transformation. We live in challenging times, yet the most exciting times. When you are starting to remember that you are not just an ordinary being, but that you are a star being, a cosmic being, living in the human body. Now, we also live in a time when you can transform yourself in this body. When you can transform from the ego-mind human being into soul-mind, multidimensional cosmic being while still living in this human body. Now the transformation would happen for a reason, that you can share your knowledge with everyone who is willing to receive it, that you assist in the current changes, that you are help to create a pathway for everyone who will eventually follow in this transformation. Because that is where is humanity heading. Perhaps not in the next 5 or 10 years, but in the longer and the bigger scale, we are moving into soul-mind beings and multidimensional beings who will be living on the earth, but also on many different planets, who will become a benevolent beings and work with the other benevolent beings in this universe. It's going to be such a wonderful time when we reach this level of evolution. Now, the evolution does take some time. Transformation happens much more faster. And that is why you are here today, why you are wondering how can you become this multidimensional being, how can you truly awaken the starseed codes within your body, how can you be somebody who will teach others to do the same or follow the same. Well, to understand transformation, let's go a little bit to the beginning and the rules of the earth. When you first arrived here, it was somewhere in the time of the ancient Lemuria, in the land of the Mu, or in the Atlantis. But let's focus on the Lemuria in this talk. When you have arrived in the ancient Lemuria, or your ancient ancestors have arrived in the ancient Lemuria, they were aware of the rules they have to follow. They could live on earth. They can enjoy the experiments. They can enjoy the goodness of the earth. They could even do mine for its resources. But the one thing they were not allowed to do is to interfere with the natural evolution of life on earth. Compared to these ancient beings, the life on the earth has been in the beginning of the steps. Now there are many planets in this universe, and the evolutionary process is different on each planet. There are the planets who were way ahead even of these ancient aliens at the time that they arrived on the earth. And there are planets who are way behind of that evolutionary process. So the earth was doing fine and it was evolving in its natural speed of life. And the Lemurians honored this. They were fascinated with the senses, especially the 7 senses of the body, and how the senses on the earth heighten, how they are stronger and much more exciting than out there in the cosmos. The sense of the smell, the sense of the taste, sense of the sight, the sense of touch, the sense of hearing and the sound, the sixth sense, ability to know and utilize your psychic and healing senses and abilities, and the seventh sense, which calls the time traveling. However, don't get all too excited. The time traveling is more connected to the movement in the timeline. And we know that the earth has a timeline, to move in that energy in the past or in the energy of the future. So they were exploring with all these kind of the potentials and ability and a sensation, and life was quite exciting on earth. They were connected to the natural elements of the earth, and we can today tell that they used magic to create. Now that everybody who is excited about this stuff and the energy healing and chasing the knowledge will know that there's nothing like a magic. Everything has a perfect explanation. And that's what we are learning today, to find those answers, find those explanations, and understand what these ancients did. Now, in the time of the Atlantis, it kind of went on for a while, and another extraterrestrial being started to joining the Project Earth, and they were kind of tired of doing their work and the mining and so on, and they decided to create human slaves. Now, they have done something that was not allowed. They sped up primates evolution, the primates who eventually became the human beings, right? The body that we are embodying today. So they sped up the evolutionary process, which was against the universal law or the rules. And you can look where we end up with that. Now we know that there has been, the groups of the extraterrestrial beings who had nothing to do with it, and the groups that we can point a finger and says, oh, it was you, and because of you we are here. Now the blame's not going to get us anywhere. And I think this is where we begin this transformation. We have to look at the past and embrace it for what it was and learn from it. To learn that the rule follows, earth follows the rules of the evolution. And if you want to go through the faster transformation, you need to know what you are doing and how you are going to do it. So you are not caught up in the shortcut backlash of the energy, meaning that some negative interferences will affect your life from the changes, transformation that you are doing. So somehow we all ended up here, incarnating eventually into the bodies that have been created in the ancient Atlantis. Now naturally these bodies have evolved quite sophisticatedly, wouldn't you say? But these bodies are absolutely not designed to hold the StarSeed consciousness within, to really take your StarSeed energy, your soul, mind, beautiful memories, and spread them in that beautiful body that you have and utilize all that knowledge. One day, the human body will be there because it will evolve to that point, but we are still ahead of that evolutionary point. However, we are allowed to create these little shortcuts here and there. Even though Pleiadian says there's no way to ascension through the shortcuts, but even they, do acknowledge that there are little bit pieces here and there where you can make the changes, because otherwise it's absolutely impossible to achieve what would you like to achieve. And the Pleiadians do want us to master this, to achieve it, maybe even speed it up a little bit for ourselves and the others, so we can become multidimensional species as we dream about to be. We cannot have just the artificial intelligence to take over and achieve that for us. We have to achieve that as the human species. So We are in these bodies that again follow the rules of the evolution. Now, if we look at the back, how these bodies evolve, how any kind of the body, if you look at a simple animal life, some kind of the living life, if you look at the plant life, you know that the body evolves through the suffering. It may sound odd, but everybody evolves because something is not working for you anymore, and your body have to adapt and shift a little bit, evolve in a better version that will be much more, that you evolve into the better version that is much more adaptable to your surroundings, to the place where you are living. Now, imagine this. As it is lovely, beautiful star being that you are, somewhere on your journey, let's say sometime about 2000 years ago, when you lived your life among the Essenes, among the Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, all those wonderful, wonderful beings back then, you plunge into a life or series of the lives where you have quite fast forgotten of who you are and how to rekindle your energies, how to become that amazing star being living within the body and utilize your knowledge and wisdom to assist in the slow but sure changes of the humanity and the earth. You get lost in your lives, and the trauma that life have co-created for you, with you, brought you in this series of the incarnations. And so suddenly you plunge yourself in this reoccurring incarnations. And to some of you it may happen 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. And you are kind of in this spinning kind of the wheel. Now, Pleiadian says that we had a lot of control until about, 2,000 years ago, where we would be born in the families that would be much more awakened and supportive of who we are and help us to regain ourselves. And that way we would have a choice, a bigger choice to decide if you want to stay in the assistance on the earth, or if you are ready for your ascension process. So let's go to the scenario that you have forgotten. And unfortunately, the earth is this recycling kind of the place center. Your soul, mind consciousness has been thrown from one lifetime to another lifetime. Once you've forgotten, once you get this amnesia, you are down spiraling into lifetimes that you would not consciously choose. And naturally, any spiritual being tells you that every lifetime has a lesson to learn, has something to gain from. And naturally, Pleiadians do agree with that. But how long are you going to learn that? Let's say that you are in a lifetime when you are swimming, when you are fishing on the river, and unfortunately there's a storm and you fall into the water and you drown, because even though you are a fisherman, somehow you never learn how to swim, so you drown. So your soul co-create this trauma, or sponges embrace this trauma of the drowning, which is horrible. You are drowning there. You know that you won't be able to catch those fishes, and your family may even die of the hunger, because who's gonna feed them now? So there's this tremendous trauma and the guilt and the anger and the frustration that's collecting within your soul. Now, once you pass away and you go to the heaven, to the lovely recycling center, which, by the way, unless you figure it out, you are not much traumatized or affected. You will actually really enjoy that place until you realize there are other places to go, a little better places to go than just heaven. Now, out of this place, you suddenly are guided to repeat this life, repeat a similar kind of the life where you need to learn how to swim, when you need to overcome your fear of water. And let's say you have a 20 lifetimes, one after the other, and you just drown into every single lifetime. And eventually you are so terrorized and afraid of water that just by seeing the water, you may have a panic attack and have a heart attack, and you die. How long do you have to do this? Then you become just a guy or a girl who's just going through this lifetime to learning to swim. When will you figure it out that before that first time that you drowned, you had a lifetime when you were an amazing swimmer? It is just the illusion and the trick that is bestowed upon you when you're making your choices for the soul contract. So as a star being, when you awaken at least a little bit, you suddenly realize that there are other choices. That you don't have to have a whole lifetime when you need to figure it out how you're going to learn to swim, that you can go in that lifetime and you can heal this. This is your seventh sense ability to move in the timeline and heal your soul in the timeline and bring it into the present time. Now, there's this genius thing, and I'm a little sarcastic here, that we as this lovely star being have figured it out in the heaven. And I think we've been passing it as this secret to one another, how to create an opening for us in the lifetime, how to create the crack a little bit, the crack in time, that we can faster figure it out, that we are star beings living in the human body and we just believe we are having these human experiences. So imagine that we are all there in the lovely heaven and there's this cafeteria of suffering that you choose your choices before you coming to earth, because it's a very honorable thing and amazing thing to learn from the suffering on earth, right? I hope you pick up my sarcasm here a little bit. So we were there in the cafeteria and somebody told us, hey, if you overload your plate with the suffering, you reach the bottom that the human body cannot really take. But what will happen to you, it will activate your energy and your soul, mind, consciousness will send out the signal, almost something like, Kundalini awakening. Everybody can experience it very differently. And it may be through the most lowest lows that you would ever reach. But when your energy sends that signal, says, help me, I can't take it anymore. Then, when you ask for the help is always given. So all of you overachieving souls out there, overachieving starseeds up there, I bet you have one thing in common, a tremendous level of the suffering that you have manifested in this lifetime. Now, what I want to share with you today, and hopefully that will bring you some sense of peace within you. You have manifested your suffering for the reason that you can transform from the human being into a cosmic being and hold that awakened consciousness, the knowledge within you, and share it with others so others can do it without a tremendous level of suffering. That they don't have to go to this cafeteria of the suffering and overload their plate. You are here to literally create a pathway for the others because you knew how bad it is going to be, how difficult it is to overcome it and literally rise up from that bottom, transform, which means heal, and be your star being self in this human body. Some of you had suffered tremendous abuse, illnesses, depression, levels of the suffering, passing of your loved ones that are unspeakable. Yet you are here today. You joined this channeling congress. You never gave up. You're looking for answers. You're looking for the way to understand yourself. And the way to become yourself, which is not to wait until you evolve, because you don't have a time for this, I don't have a time for this. The only chance to become our beautiful star beings is to transform. And so the transformation comes again by the acceptance. We can't blame that somebody killed us in the past and past lives, that they have done this to us and that to us, that they have enslaved us to the dark beings, that they have, blocked our knowledge, ruined our energy. Whatever it is that you feel have happened to you, the first come acceptance and the surrender, forgiveness, and unconditional love for yourself and even for your enemies. You need to feel all those that you hold, the grudge, hatred, anger, frustration, anything you would like to call it. You need to send them unconditional love. And that's the first point of the transformation. The universe is looking out at you, and it will reflect whatever you are holding back to you. So you evolve through the suffering. You can transform through the willpower of the unconditional love. It is as simple as it is. I know that everybody would like to have this magic formula, a light code, number, saying, symbol, and there are many of them and they do work. We all are using them and we all are sharing them with the others because they work for us. That every single of that tool, of that component, need to be charged with your unconditional love for yourself, for earth, for universe, for your friends, and for your so-called enemies. Because then there are no more enemies, they are just beings who are making their own personal choices. So, energy is changing rather fast. We are in a time of the quantum speed, so we can utilize it in our benefits. It was the other day when the Pleiadian says, past is gone and future is here. Stop living in the past. Stop being angry about whatever happened to you. Stop digging and digging and digging further more. If you need to find answers, look for them, find them, meditate, read your Akash or ask somebody to read your Akash. But don't dwell in it forever. Find what you need. What is that root of your problem, of your blockage, of that is holding you there, that makes you feel that you are stuck in the cage and you just can't get out of that cage. Find it and use that level of the suffering with the power of the unconditional love that opened the door of that cage. When you accept it, when you forgive, and when you find the love for yourself and all those others, it will open the doorway. And once the cage is open, there will be a light comes one after the other. It's almost like there's a pathway, but you do have to step on that stone to illuminate it. Imagine those magic stones, and the light will not go on until you step on that stone and the light will activate. You do have to take a leap of faith to move forward into your new self. Now, who is your new self? Who is that star being who you used to be? Sadly enough, we are not returning back who we used to be. We need to learn from who we used to be and transform it into 21st century amazing being of your new self. How would you take a knowledge you used to have, you used to teach, you used to utilize, and adjust it to 21st century soul, heart, mind, even the ego that is appealing to every part of your body. You can do this. You can do this. Because everything is within you. It is a time to go within instead of out. So start defining of who your new self is. What is your personality? What color of the clothes you like to wear? What is it you like to eat? What is your hobby? What makes you happy? Do you have love in your life? Define it who it is that you would like to be, not what others would like you to be. Be yourself. Now the next step on that journey is starting understanding yourself, to all aspects of yourself. So by all means, this evolutionary human body, it's literally driven by ego. Ego is not evil. Ego is just a mini-me, a younger version of your amazing universal mind that is residing within you. It is the little child who desperately wants to grow up. So you do not get rid of your ego, you help your ego to grow up by looking at all the insecurity, the fears, worries, anxieties, panics, whatever your ego has, or the need to control, and you start calling upon it. You start watching it, and you says, okay, you don't have to control. You don't have to manipulate. You don't. What had happened that we learn to trust? What had happened that we learn to really allow our ego to grow into the mind and develop the mind intuition, so that let go of that gut intuition that serve us well, but now having that instant knowing and the guidance. How do we feel to be connected to the unconditional love of yourself and the others? How it would feel if you meet your soul family in this life, if you meet your soulmate in this life, if you meet the people that you care deeply about, how it would feel that you will not control the outcome of all those situations, how it would feel to utilize your knowledge and the wisdom so this world is a better place. That is all you can do. So, in the summary, you are living in the body that evolves by the suffering, and the evolutionary timeline of this evolving into my multidimensional beings hasn't fit to our lifetime. So once you realize that you are a star being within the body, you do need to co-create a little shortcut, which is the transformation. Literally honor this body that you have. Tell you the funny things, the Pleiadians are making this joke lately. They says, if you as ancients, or all of us, when we were designing this being, and I says we as a collective, because we're not gonna point out a finger who did it and who did not, but when we were designing the human body, nobody of these ancient beings would even consider or think that they will be actually incarnating in these vessels. It's like you are a designer of the clothes and you're designing these clothes to make some extra money, but you never expect you would have to wear those clothes. So if the ancients knew that, they would definitely develop this body a little better. Don't you think? Wouldn't you? So that's a little side joke up there. But again, once we know it, that the evolution, there's no time for the whole big evolutionary process happening. And, you don't need to always suffer. You do a little transformation. Through transformation, you have that plate of the suffering. When you are aware of it, you know that your growing up stage speeds up. And that means, some suffering level speeds up. Everything in your life may go crazy temporary. But if you are really working on balancing your soul, your ego mind, and your body, you are going to be great. Now, your ego, through this transformation, need to grow up and transform into this beautiful mind that is connect with the whole universal mind and consciousness of this universe. Now your soul will receive a lot of soul healing so it can rise from this traumatized self within the body and realize that she has incredible level of the knowledge within herself, that she is like that Eve in the Garden of the Eden, who ate the whole apple, not only half of it, who got the whole knowledge. That is your soul, having the whole knowledge of this universe and beyond, and of the life on earth, only within you. And it doesn't matter if you are female or the male in this lifetime. You do have a knowledge because you all have a beautiful soul residing within you. And your body. You need to start listening to your body. Your body's nervous system needs to rewire itself. And so you need to start listening what it is that your body needs. Our needs are different. Looking at it for quite a while, and there's no one particular diet or one particular vitamins or the essence that we all would take that works for every single one of us. So tune in your body. Again, focus on that inward energy and start communicating with that innate energy within your body. What is it you need? What kind of the food you need at this time? Do you need to shift diet? Do you need to more vitamins? Do you need to drink more water? Whatever it is. Do not feel guilty that you do not follow vegetarian or vegan or strictly meat diet, what others people do. Be yourself. Stop judging yourself based on how others are judging you, expect you to be. If your body needs a piece of the meat, find a piece. Find that meat that is, sourced organically, that comes from the good farms that that they take care of the animals if you can. If you are vegetarian, look for the organic options and so much on. Learn to grow your food if it does what you like. But don't do it just because the other people expect you to do, or because it will look good and what other people will think if you eat this or that. Shift and transform from be someone who please the others instead of being someone who truly embody your true ancient self and help it to transform into 21st century star being. So I hope you have enjoyed this contribution and this Pleiadian sharing about the StarSeed transformation. I wish you all love and light on your journey, and I wish you all a beautiful and successful transformation from a human ego mind-based being into soul mind multidimensional being, a cosmic being. And I cannot wait to meet you on the astral plane in our multidimensional traveling, in our meditation, lucid dreaming, or any way that we will meet. I love you, sending you love and light from my heart to yours.